Hi everyone, today I will be presenting my mid-semester Human Resources project. I will be talking about women in the workplace. Women and men have clearly not been treated equally in the workforce. Women have been previously hired predominantly in lower-paying jobs. In this video, we will be discussing women in the workforce throughout time and linking human resources concepts learned in my Human Resources Management class. The two concepts that we will be discussing are current business issues, inequality for women in the workplace, this is chapter 1, and discrimination and harassment in the workplace towards women, and this is chapter 2. Until recently, women typically had jobs as maids, nurses, teachers, and housekeepers. In 1901, 14% of women worked with a salary. Some worked without being paid. Like today, men were worried of having women in the workforce and taking over their jobs and earning higher wages. Later, during the Second World War, women took over men's jobs while they were off to war. During this period, nurses had an equal pay to men who were officers in the army. This was the first time that there was pay equality. Soon after, though, they were encouraged to leave the workforce and get married when the war had ended. By 1951, 24% of women had jobs. Nowadays, women take part in many more jobs than the four main ones mentioned previously. They make up almost half of the entire Canadian workforce, 48% to be exact. In Chapter 1 of the Essentials of Managing Human Resources book, we discuss certain business issues that affect businesses around the world every day. In this textbook, it discusses how the increasing number of women working is affecting businesses. More women means having to adapt more to certain events like childbirth and having to balance work and home life. Laws now allow women to take more or less a year off work when pregnant. This is one example of something that was previously irrelevant in the workplace due to having mostly men who worked. Adjusting laws and mentalities have proven to be difficult over time, but there are without a doubt many changes that have occurred in the last few decades that have improved women's working conditions as well as those for men. In the second chapter of the Essentials of Managing Human Resources, we discussed discrimination and harassment in the workplace. Many minorities are targeted, but out of the groups that usually are targeted, women is one of the first one that is spoken about. Women have been perceived as inferior to men for a long time, and modifying that mentality has not been an easy job. Men have viewed women as objects and easy targets for misplaced comments or inappropriate touching. Women have also been susceptible to pay inequality and given less opportunities at their jobs. This sort of behavior has been present in the workplace and it is a very real issue for many women. In Canada, harassment in the workplace for women is not as bad as some other countries. Nevertheless, it remains a serious issue. In Canada, 10% of women between the age of 18 and 24 have reported sexual harassment at work. In the HRM textbook, it doesn't specifically speak much of women, but it does mention that there are many laws in place to protect any person, whether it is a woman or any other minority, that may be discriminated against or harassed. If you look up on the Government of Canada website, you can find a list of all laws and regulations against discrimination and harassment. It states all laws and includes pay equality laws for men and women and sexual harassment among many others. Overall, women's equality remains an issue that needs a lot of improvement, even though we have come a long way already. It is a persistent current business issue that needs to be addressed not only by employees and managers at work, but also in everyday life. Changing our mentality as a society is the first step to a more equal and adapted work environment. By perceiving women as equals, workplace discrimination and harassment will rapidly decrease and any type of inappropriate behavior will no longer be present. Women and men are equally hardworking people with goals that they want to achieve. Addressing this type of issue allows this to happen. Thank you.